now, please, boys and girls, to page 201. Also, open your notebooks.
Today's classrooms, like today's society, are changing faster than ever before. More students from different backgrounds, more who are hard to serve, more who have special needs. And today's teachers need new strategies for coping with those changing needs.
Our school district has developed a reputation as being a leader in integrating students with disabilities. And one of the most useful things that we developed to support that is this problem-solving process.
Hi, Heather. How are things going today?
It's Jessica again. She's driving me crazy. We have to talk about this.
Okay, let's sit down. Okay, Heather, we'll just calm down here, and maybe if we could just backtrack and you could tell me what went on today with Jessica in the classroom?
Well, it's the same old thing. When I ask the class to get out their books for a particular subject, especially math, Jessica just ignores me. So
when problems keep recurring in the classroom or at home, when the teacher is at a loss about what to try next, that's when a problem-solving team can make a real difference.
Maybe if I could come into your classroom during math class and just do some observations. I'll just sit at the side and observe her in the classroom, and then we can always call on the other staff members to do some problem solving.
well, we have to do something. I don't know what to do next. We have to do something.
Okay.
How many of the flags are red? Becky?
1,
1 out of how many?
2,
So how would we say that as a fraction?
1/2,
Very good. That's the right answer. What would we say for the fraction for number 2? Melanie? 3/4. Very good. Please check your work as we're going along. Jessica, I need you to get your math books out now, please. It's time to put the markers away.
We're trying to promote collaboration, peer problem solving, peer support, and the use of people's own expertise rather than deferring problem solving to experts who will come from outside and supposedly tell teachers the truth of what they should do.
Guided by a facilitator, who may be a consulting teacher, a methods and resource teacher, or a guidance counselor, the problem-solving team will move through an orderly sequence of steps from the identification of the problem to the development and implementation of a plan that will help to resolve it. The facilitator is a people-oriented individual who makes group members feel welcome and supports their participation. The facilitator is also a task-oriented individual who knows how to keep the discussion moving so the meeting produces the best possible results in the 30 minutes available. It's the facilitator's job to appoint someone to act as a recorder, to keep the other team members on topic, and to stay within the time frame.
It shows that a few people with a clear process that only takes 30 minutes can develop really powerful ideas so that somebody can get on with the job, feel more optimistic, more confident, and able to tackle the situation with the class, with the student, or what have you.
Jessica is a 9-year-old girl, and she's having difficulty attending in class.
The facilitator gets each meeting off to a good start by stating the reasons for the meeting and by reviewing the process to be followed. He or she will also summarize any background material or clarification that might be needed to deal with the problem in question.
She asks for things to be completed. And at this stage, I guess we'll just ask Heather if she would like to give a little background information and things maybe that you have tried to this point.
Okay. Well, basically, I guess at this point, I'm feeling frustrated myself with this situation. I've worked with Jessica for several months now, and yet, though I've tried different things.
In Stage 2, the referring teacher makes a brief statement to the entire group about the problem being examined today and her difficulty in coping with it.
Inappropriate ways to express your feelings. What kinds of problems?
Then, in Stage 3, to be sure everyone is clear on the nature of the problem the teacher faces, team members have an opportunity to ask questions of the referring teacher. They will usually ask for specific examples of problem behavior. They may want to dig a little into the child's history or search out things that appear to trigger the problem. They will also want to have a clear idea of resources in the school that the teacher can draw on to support positive changes in the child's behavior. However, it is important that the facilitator keep the stage brief and that the focus be on clarifying essential facts.
The next stage in the process, and we'll go one after the other in a clockwise order. Okay, we'll start with you, Fred.
Okay. In order for you to be able to help Jessica.
By stage 4, the team is ready to begin brainstorming to generate suggestions and strategies that might apply. The suggestions are brief, practical statements, and they are always directed toward the facilitator, never toward the referring teacher, who now sits listening quietly, letting the ideas flow. To keep the process moving, the facilitator should move from person to person to keep the idea brief and to the point.
Rowena?
I'll pass.
Team members may pass if more time is needed to formulate suggestions, but since one idea frequently leads to another, an atmosphere of trust, acceptance, and cooperation is easily maintained.
Perhaps some small group counseling so that other children can relate to her how they feel when she tries to manipulate and become the main one by the looks of things.
Okay, so small group counseling and involve, you say, children?
Possibly other children, and then she would then know how they feel when they are manipulated
Yes.
by her.
Okay. Julie?
I was wondering about, for organizational skills, having a small card on her desk with a few checkpoints, like have you got your book out, is your pencil ready, that sort of thing that is hers to check, and teach her to use that from time to time.
Okay. Blair?
Dealing with math, her problems with math, maybe reducing the amount of work that she has to do, and when she's finished, perhaps allowing her to work on something that interests her as a reward for getting that amount done.
All right, we'll go around one more. Fred?
2 words, conflict resolution.
Diane?
Involve mom in the classroom.
Robin?
Ask her to write different endings to stories that involve conflicts.
The best rule at this stage for all concerned is to avoid evaluating any suggestion until the brainstorming segment is completed.
This procedure always works. Sometimes it works better than others, and I think it especially works well when you have really creative people as part of the team.
I'd like to thank you for your ideas, and at this time we will just ask Heather at this stage of the game to join us.
Once the brainstorming subsides, the team begins stage 5, where the referring teacher has an opportunity to react to the suggestions offered. This might simply be a matter of selecting the 3 or 4 suggestions that seem most appropriate and promising in this particular situation, or it might involve a process like the one seen here, where the teacher assigns a value of 1 to a strategy that he or she wants to try immediately. A value of 2 could be used for suggestions that have some merit, but would be less of a priority just now. And finally, a value of 3 could be used for an idea that has already been tried or is not a practical approach at this time. Good strategies tend to be simple and positive, not challenging or controlling for the child. Good strategies are the ones that can begin to help immediately.
And how do you feel?
Well, I'm just really pleased to get all of these suggestions. I'm sure I've gotten a lot of really helpful ones. And
Great
I thought of a
ideas,
couple
eh?
myself, too, when I was sitting here. So.
Or we will in a couple of days. We'll look at your schedule and have an
Okay.
opportunity to sit
By
down
stage
and,
6, the facilitator is ready to establish an action plan to follow up on the strategies that the teacher has selected. All aspects of the plan should be put in writing, at least in outline form, for accountability and to clarify everyone's
get a plan in place
responsibilities.
and get Jessica on track.
Okay, great.
I'd like to
Sounds
thank
good.
all of you for giving your time this afternoon to assist Heather. It's been really helpful.
In the 7th and final stage, the facilitator draws the meeting to a close after half an hour of discussion and brainstorming. This process is a very simple one and a very powerful one when implemented by a well-trained facilitator who understands the importance of each stage and how to meet the objectives through teamwork. For training purposes, refer to the program manual. To review the process, there are 7 steps. Stage 1, introducing the problem and the process. Stage 2, statement from referring teacher. Stage 3, group discussion with referring teacher. Stage 4, brainstorming. Stage 5, selecting strategies. Stage 6, establishing an action plan. Stage 7, closing the meeting. Naturally, this team approach to problem solving can be used to address other issues besides student behavior, especially when an interdisciplinary team brings different types of expertise to bear on the problem. Teams can include not only classroom teachers, methods and resource teachers, and guidance counselors, but also district psychologists, speech pathologists, social workers, and other specialists from agencies in the community, depending on the problem under discussion. It's a process that is always helpful wherever a team is ready to collaborate and invest 30 minutes to come up with strategies that can help a colleague facing a problem.
Over and over, I've had people with extensive experience comment on the fact that this is such a neat, powerful device that it's unbelievable that all schools aren't using it consistently. And I guess that's part of what we have to know about schools. It takes a lot of time, it takes generations to change the culture of a school and to change how people operate, see their roles within that institution.
Slip on a t-shirt, slap on a hat, and slap on some sunscreen.
That's very good work.
Teachers helping teachers, using teamwork to solve problems.